The Chinese Kuomintang Army and the Communist Chinese CCP Army have retreated deep into the mountainous interior of China, to the territory of Qinghai, a formidable mountainous fortress deep in the mountains from which the Japanese would have a tough time squirreling them out. From this position, the Chinese can radiate outwards in opportunistic attacks when the Japanese army's attention is drawn elsewhere. But for right now, the Japanese army has decided to advance to pick up the remaining territories worth of any value in the Chinese states in Shanxi, but also to create a bit of a buffer state in the territories of Xinjiang, Sichuan, Suyan, and Shanxi, so that any potential future Chinese attacks outwards from Qinghai will be somewhat telegraphed as they pick up some of the buffering regions. But the Japanese Empire begins to turn its attention to other territories abroad in order to expand the Japanese co-prosperity sphere. In the north, the border is quiet, and thankfully so, because the Japanese have no interest in the frozen wastelands of Siberia. But to the south, in the Dutch East Indies, these territories are very lucrative in oil and rubber, and things that the Japanese Empire requires to prop up and to assist its mighty industry. Especially with the absence of American oil, the Japanese Empire feels somewhat squeezed and looks for other trade partners in the Dutch East Indies. But also, it notices that there are a few other occurrences across the board. There has been put pressure on Siam to join the Japanese co-prosperity sphere, and there are reports that they shall join towards the end of this season. In British Malaya, there is a stock-up of troops occurring, with a sizable contingent of Australians presenting over here, Gurkhas and regular infantry, as well as Australians who have stacked themselves up in this territory with 2 coastal artillery batteries to fend off any attacks by, well, any prospective enemies from this strong position known as the Gibraltar of the East. The Gurkhas and the British FEC, the Far East Command, have also prepared some troops in Burma and Calcutta, and likewise the Indian states are wide open, but again, this is through dense jungle and mountainous terrains that the Japanese have no interest in fighting through those disease-ridden places. It turns its attention to the Pacific Islands, where we see the Americans have stored up troops in Wake and in Midway, and also in Guam. And so the Japanese sees this as an unkind act by the Americans. These territories should rightfully belong within the sphere of influence by the Japanese, and sees this as somewhat of a hostile act in these waters. But as of yet, it has issued a formal protest to the American government, but no action has been taken thus far. If we turn our attention to the rest of the globe, we see that there is sizable forces being built up in the French Republic, with Picardy and Alsace-Lorraine and Paris all stacked full of troops. The Germans have been busy building their own medium armor units across the map. The British are likewise preparing a mighty fleet in the sea zone off the coast of London, a sizable fleet there. The French have also sent some troops into this territory as well, some ships into this territory as well, to really pin down whatever the Germans would desire to do. We see the Spanish Civil War is still ongoing with no resolution in sight. The Americans are also slowly building up some troops along this coastline, with a marine being placed in last turn. And lastly, the Italians are a very peaceful bunch. They have acquired Albania into their sphere of influence and have joined the Empire of Italy. But otherwise, things have been quite quiet on this front, as of course the British Mediterranean fleet is somewhat matching whatever the Italians have. There might be silence in the theater for the considerable future. The Russians, for their part, are stacking up troops in Transcaucasus, likely for an attempted invasion into Iran, which will be threatening to the British, as the British do need resources coming from this territory to fulfill their pockets. And likewise, up north in Finland, we see a sizable contingent of Soviet troops in anticipation of invasion of Finland. And that gives somewhat of a wrap-up of what the situation is across the globe. Hello, friends and gamers. My name is Jinx, and we're playing the Japanese turn for what I believe is turn number 6. And so I know I do believe we've missed a few rolls on the Mongolians. I believe if it is 6 turns, then they should have something like 6 dice. And I don't know if Tamatula gets a dice roll or not, too. I suspect not, but I think there's like 6 recruitment dice that they get to get, which at a 33% chance with 4 territories here of getting units. So that might be something that we might see, unless I'm mistaken on the rules. I do get to roll for a recruitment roll for Siam, but at the end in the production phase of this turn, we will also get to put them in our pockets, and we'll have the state join us. So here's a roll for Siam. A 2. We needed a 1. We got a 2. Therefore, we missed. So that's too bad. And I believe that's all really. So let's roll for tech right away. Now I have put no dice on the map just yet. So let's see. We have large ship construction here with a +1, and jet fighters also with a +1. So I'm going to. I see there's no tower here. I can just roll these out. and see what those results are. 11 and a 1. So the 1 is our large ship construction. So that goes up to 2 now. And 11 is the success for the jet fighters. So we go to this position. And my belief is that next turn we can start rolling for our stage 2 tech. So that will prove to be interesting. But yeah, things will be interesting in this department. We've been lucky so far, but we've missed our last couple ones. So the dice have about averaged out, I believe. All right. Now we go to our production to see what production we go for the Japanese. Now the Japanese are still focused on taking out the Chinese, and in that order they're going to get 2 transport planes, 2 cavalry, an infantry, an anti-aircraft gun, and 2 airborne to supplement the airplanes over here. And so that's what we're getting this turn, and that should take us right down to 0. So we turn our attention to the board and sort out our combat moves. So we aren't attacking this big lump of troops, but we are making 2 small attacks. From Suyuan, 2 infantry and a cavalry to Shanxi. Likewise, from Hopei, we're sending in 3 infantry to Shanxi as well. Oops. We'll just delete this right away and copy our roundel here. So our income will go up by a couple, and that leaves a grand total of, what is that, 5 infantry and 1 cavalry in Shanxi. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Now going into Szechuan, hold on, let me think. I'm pretty happy with that. Turning our attention to Szechuan, we're going to send in 2 Marines and an infantry from Hopei, plus from the south, Kwaichao, we're sending in 2 infantry to Szechuan, from Hunan 1 infantry, and from Shantung 1 infantry. And we're also sending from Kwaichao to Xingkang 1, what is this guy, 1 infantry. We're going to send in 2 fighters. And to Szechuan, we're sending in 1 tactical, actually, you know what? Tactical bombers going into Xingkang. And these aircraft here from Biping are going to all go into that territory. By that territory, I mean Szechuan, to really hammer out that one last unit. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they can't go as far as that. So they're going into there. 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's what we're going into. We're going into the territory of Xingkang, I do believe. Okay, I do believe that's it. So now we do our little battles. Yeah, I can't think of any other combat moves to do, so now it's time for our little battles. So starting with this battle here, infantry, 2 fighters, and a tactical. I will just grab some dice here. So they have 1 militia rather, so it's rolling a 2. And we are going in with 2 fighters, a tactical bomber, and 1 infantry, rolling at a 1. So remember that the purple here is the enemy. The rest of it kind of lines up with our stuff. It's a 3. So we scored 1 hit, and the enemy rolled a 3. So we succeeded in not losing anything and managing to take out the enemy with our tactical bomber scoring the hit. So there's that. Now we go to our second battle here. I'm going to just roll for the aircraft. So that's 2 fighters, 2 tactical bombers, and a militia here. And if we need to, we'll roll for the rest of the units as well. So that will be, again, the purple will stand in for the enemy. We have 2 yellow for the tactical and 2 green for our fighters. And we hope to score a hit on one of these dice. Not the enemies, hopefully, and the enemy does score a hit, so they take out one of our units, and luckily we took out a few of theirs, or one of theirs as well. Okay, so not as good as it could have been, but, you know, at the end of the day, we have to take whatever we can get. We're going to take off the pieces off the board here. Oops. Okay, clone this. All right. Okay, our aircraft will land back in Hopei, and I might need to start stacking these guys up. My aircraft, that is. Or get a little unit token here. So I'm going to grab the 97th, I guess, put it up here on the board, and that will stand in for what's in Hopei. I just need to find a little peaceful spot on the map I could rest this on. Okay, so we have in Hopei these aircraft, and a militia. It's going to be quite messy here. And a militia. And now we go for our non-combat moves. So we're going to, it's going to be a little bit complex. So we have here in port in P16, we have 3 transports. So we're going to pick up these 3 cavalry. We're going to go pick up an extra cavalry here. So that loads up 2. So all these guys are going to pick up units and come to this territory and drop them off in Hopei. And what else do we need? Okay, Sea Zone in the 6th Fleet, I have another 2 transports. So how many do we need here now? That's a total of 9. Is it 9? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I need 4 transports for that. Is this not sitting level? It's not, that's why. Okay, so that's 4 transports, pick those guys up. And what else do we need? 97th will go there. And then I have 1 transport's going to pick up a unit from artillery from up here and drop them off in Hopei, and one of the Marines is going to be picked up as well. And then I also will grab a destroyer. I have none here. I'm going to grab a destroyer from this lower sea zone in P32, come up here, and he's going to take this last Marine to Hopei as well. Now this guy here is going to walk from Kwangtung to Yunnan, regular infantry, and from Kwangtung all the way up north he's going to be railed to Suyan, 1 infantry to that position there. And I do believe that's about it when it comes to all of our moves. We're going to move these battleships further south. To sure in that position there, and intimidate. No, we're just going to sit there to this position here. That doesn't really matter. Let's just leave the ships where they are, because that way it'll keep similar when it comes to our unit recaps. Okay, I believe that is it altogether for all of our non-combat moves. I just need to place my units on the board now. Okay, so the 2 airborne. I guess they can go in Tokyo. It's about equidistant, what we need. Okay, and then our artillery and our cavalry and infantry show up over here, and we're going to put 1 cavalry up in Rihi, so we have that extra little punch if need be. And that is about it. That's it for all of our moves across the board. So we put a bit of pressure on the Chinese. We'll have to see what they do with it. So now in the production phase, or the place unit phase, we do get the militia here. We do get some dudes. We do get Siam to join us. So that's quite lovely. I'm going to put that guy here for now. Copy my roundel. Clone this puppy. And unfortunately don't get our recruitment rolls anymore, but we do get Siam, so that's kind of nice. Alright. I think that about does it across the board for all the stuff we need. So we go up, we go to our income tracker here. We move our Japanese 1, 2, 3 to 31. The CCP drop down to 0, and I'm going to also move this Axis income 1, 2, 3 up, and the Allies down by 1, 2. So collectively the Axis are collecting 73, and the Allies are doing 47. So yeah, I might actually throw an extra chip there for Allied and common turn income combined, but you see that it would be close to matching what we have. So yeah, it'd be close to matching, not quite exactly, but you know, within a spitting distance of each other. Okay, and that takes care of the turn here. So I guess I should collect my income still. We are sitting at 31 plus 6 brings us up to 38. Is that correct? 31. Yeah, alright. 31 plus 6. No, it's not 38. What am I talking about? 37. I guess I'm a little puzzled because last turn I had 36 bucks to spend. But I think that was correct as well. Let me double check here. 31 plus 6. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think that works out. so it should be 37. So 37, not sure why last time I had a bit of leftover. I thought I spent it all, but maybe I didn't. 37 here for the upcoming next turn. Good stuff. Alright all, thank you all for watching. The Japanese turn is concluded. Cheers.